Happy Hot Monday from the parking lot. Just got in the car so I can head in from work. Now, let me sit a spell. Sometimes, I like to get in the car and just sit a spell sometimes, which I normally do. But over the weekend, I have hope for the future, and then I don't. It's like a balance between hope and when I looking around at people, I'm like, whoa. Some people of hope give you hope, but there's a whole lot, and I'm like, maybe it's the area I'm in. But then over the weekend, I got to see people probably coming in from a whole variety of different areas. Some had sense, decency, and couth. A lot of them didn't. So I work 2 times a year for the past, I don't know, is it 3 or 4 years now? I've been working a graduation event for the University of Maryland Global Campus. I noticed different things different times each time I go. But this time, it was some very startling things I noticed amongst people that supposedly are higher educated. Oh, y'all are laughable, because let me tell you something. Again, and I've said this, we done had this conversation for the people that listen and know that I've been saying for years about education is really education, that they've been dumbing down. I mean, the dumb down has been going on entirely too long. It's so good to dumb down that you got dumb felders. And the felders are the biggest problem. Because you have dumb children because of dumb adults. And when I say dumb adults, a lot of people are not actually, some people are actually intelligent, have a modicum of common sense, but they put their common sense and all of that aside because the need to fit in and to be liked and be a part of the culture and all that other nonsense. Not a part of, being an adult or being a part of the kingdom, because the kingdom and the culture are not intertwined. So I'm sitting there working an event, and I'm working the lines. So I'm helping, directing the graduates and their guests, where they going, this, that, and the other. You talking about don't listen? It's bad. Like when I into the work world, and I've been in the work world long enough, and I tell people all the time, I say work is like a big school. And unfortunately, working with students, well, this was years ago, before the adults failed in disciplining and controlling and training children properly, as Proverbs 22:6 says, and just started following behind silly liberal experts and fake doctors like the young lady that they calling out name. At the end of the day, somebody has got to use some good God-given common sense, and a lot of people are doing that. And the children and everybody are suffering. So I had the front row tragic view with moments of joy in between with some of the grads and their guests. But the tragic moments of seeing just how ignorant and devoid of logic and sense most people are. And I can tell you what, I could tell you, I could bet the people they listen to, oh, you can tell them just by how ignorant they act, the color of their hair, the bull rings in their nose, and the fact that they can't even think in a straight line. Now, if I'm telling you you're not the graduate, you're a guest, but you're here with your graduate. So if you're in line with your graduate, and I'm saying I'm pulling the graduate out of line so we can get the graduate where they got to go, and then we're going to direct the family after the graduate, you are secondary to the graduate. I mean, we used to know that, like, just like when on a wedding day, on a prom day, on whatever, the person whose event it is the star. Okay? So the star is going to get the focus. So if I say, let me take the graduate come with me, and you took just the graduate, that means just the graduate. Now, in the instance when you had one person with the graduate, okay, I get it. Because you don't know where you're going because you by yourself. But when you got a whole group of people and y'all busy running y'all mouths, but then you got 2 or 3 of y'all watching, seeing what everybody's doing. None of y'all are seeing how the process is going, how the line is moving. You standing right in the front. You don't see what's going on. You don't see that we're taking the graduates over here and then we're directing the family over there. You have been watching. Y'all watch literally everything that's going on. When I pull a graduate out in their family and then close the line and go to the next graduate and then work my way back to you, you have not watched me do this. So I had a young lady, and of course she's of the culture. The young lady, and yesterday the ignorance was too high. My tolerance for ignorance is like void, right? But I don't try to let my ignorance that interfere with what I got going on. See, I'm there to make extra income because I'm working on. I'm not taking out any additional anything to get the dental work done that I need done. So I'm there getting my portion that the insurance is not will cover. I'm getting my down payment together so I can get round 1 started, and then I can get on to round 2, and then the broke tooth, all that is over with and done. So I got a mission. I'm on point. But what I'm not there to do, I don't play around with people. I'm trying to keep order in chaos, and there's a whole bunch of chaotic fools in line. That's why I'm like, I know teachers. I'm like, I don't even know. I see why a lot of them quit. It troubles me to see. I watch videos of teachers and they talk about the challenges they face in the classroom. Nobody wants to be disciplined. You can't correct. All that stuff. It's tragic. You see it in the workplace. You tell somebody you need to work on this, that, and the other. They want to, and they talking about somebody got it out for them. No, you're not performing. Sometimes you have those instances, but a lot of times it's you. You're not performing. So when you finally get let go, you're still blaming everybody else. You'll never grow when you never self-evaluate. And a culture, a part of the culture now, thanks to the long marches through all the institutions that run people off campus, that because they don't have the same thought process as them and they want to share it with other people because they don't want you to critical think and be like, well, hey, maybe I got a question. I kind of don't agree with. Now that I'm hearing this, I don't agree with that. See, they want to shut off all of that, right? So the young lady says to me, I'm like, I'm taking the graduate now. Graduate, you go to the right. And she with a group of people. Oh, well, what about, how we going to take pictures? I mean, you could tell with the indignation. So I just met the indignation with, when she said, how am I going to take a picture? We don't get to take pictures? I said, no. Because at that point in my mind, I'm like, no. If you think that you're here with your graduate, that the graduate is allowed to invite people to the graduation to see them walk across the stage and then go to each individual station and thing that they have set up for the graduates to celebrate. You think that you're there not to see your graduate walk across the stage? You're an idiot. You're an idiot. So as her dumb behind stood there and moved up a little bit, and saw that it was other graduates being called to the stage. They call their name, let you know what the degree they're getting, if they had any honors or whatever. And you see their family standing there clapping and taking pictures. And she's like, oh, okay, I see. Because I thought I was going to have to fight. Now, she said that. She ain't shut up there because, y'all don't know how to shut up. So after she says, I thought I was going to have to fight, then she goes on and say, yeah, on a Sunday, on the Lord's Day, you ain't worried about the Lord, because if you that out of order to think that you're going to have to fight at somebody's graduation and you ain't have no logic playing in your brain while you was watching the process and you thought that you was not going to be able to see the graduate that you came with, you ain't thinking about the Lord anyway, because he ain't in you, because something in you would have discerned or had the knowledge to say, okay, well, let me watch the process and see how this is going. They going back. I'm done with you all. But what scares me, it was so many. Now, I ain't hear no other comments about wanting to fight. I heard some stupid comments. It's always typically the same type people. So, see, sometimes you can't get mad when people automatically assume. Because sometimes when you open your mouth and start saying certain things, you leave all doubt out. So that's why I say in the Bible, when they say best to keep your mouth shut, so you won't be seen as a fool, because as soon as you all open your mouth, you prove the whole freaking point. That's why I'm like, I don't associate myself with the culture led. I don't like that. I don't like that. You either gonna be God led or you're not. Now, a lot of y'all pretend to use the God that you all have created in your mind, because it's not really God above. It's the God that you done made in your mind and that these people have sold you and you've bought into. So now that y'all out here thinking that you can create multiple gods, God is gay, God is this, God is a woman, God is da. No, he's not. So you already rejected the God of the Bible. That's why you don't like the Bible. That's why you a whole mess out here in these streets. That's why your children are a mess in the streets. You know what, let me tell you one thing was a blessing to me, besides looking at the stupidity around me and how I know that they just passing people along. Because if you being taught something properly and correctly, first of all, starting at home, and then you in a university where you're going to have to be, you're supposedly being taught and prepared to go out into the work world, y'all ain't prepared. Y'all ain't prepared for nothing but to be somewhere in isolation by yourselves, because who wants to be around you? I don't. It was painful to have to keep being around ignorance, hooping and hollering. And I'll talk about the dress tomorrow, because they need to implement a freaking dress code. And you men need to get your get your asses in gear. Keep telling you, get your asses out your pocket. Stop buying into this culture foolishness and lead. Set some order, because it was too much disorder going on with you and some of the hoes that you had with you, or that you have as children at a graduation, looking like they going to a club. That's a whole separate conversation for later on today. I want to talk about how ignorant many of you are. But you sitting up talking about, oh, I got a degree. You ignorant. They just gave you that daggone degree because they just polluting everything. So you can think yourself more highly than everybody else. And then people to think, oh, well, they got this, that, and the other. So y'all ain't got no common sense. You ain't smart. You ain't got no decency. And that's why you out of order. And the main thing you ain't got God. You have a God or gods, but you don't have God. And you're disgusting. I had to pray for myself, because I'm sitting there watching, and I was like, and that open border flashed in front of my eyes, I don't know how many times yesterday. I was like, man, this is a mess. Flooding everything with ignorant, self-important forms of religion, fake spirituality and demonic witchery. It was a they, them, or whatever it was in the line. Ooh, looked like straight out of Silence of the Lambs. That man that was dancing around in the, in the kimono with the dog that was torturing the senator's daughter. And I'm saying to myself, God be with them, but also be with the family for doing that to them. And I honestly, sincerely pray for the deliverance, because that mental, again, as I've always, to do that to people, and you look freakish, it's not anything honorable, decent, or anything in it. That's just preying on people, because then you could use them to further your fake sense of popularity. Because when you offer all kinds of anything goes and perversion, the people that just want to do any and everything and don't have no rules, of course they like you. You don't like people that want to set order and say, no, this we have to do this, that, and the other to so-and-so and so-and-so. Then we had the cockroaches. I did get to see a video of this lady in Chicago showing children just running through her neighborhood like a bunch of roaches. Rats and roaches. Then I unfortunately see the video of the Chick-fil-A over in Navy Yard. The roaches, or as one of my Facebook friends on my other page said, chimping. Then that's an accurate word for it. Out there chimping, throwing chairs and fighting in the Chick-fil-A. In addition to, I've said for years, and anybody pay attention, no, I done told you so. And there's been other people I've heard on rare occasions say the same thing. I've been saying for years they need to start charging the parents. See, I knew y'all wasn't going to check the situation because you make too many excuses for everything. Victim politics is how you live. We wasn't raised like that. So now you're going to raise the victim politics. So now everything's a victim. But the only victims is really you, me, and everybody else around you, because we pay the cost for this ignorance that you all ain't never want to check. Still don't want to check it. Because as much as you cry about it, we need to, somebody need to do something. But when they try to do something, because watch, as soon as Judge Janine, they start enforcing and block a parent up, y'all gonna start to crying and whining, y'all gonna be marching. I wish y'all move on somewhere, but nope, y'all ain't gonna move. So it's gonna have to be us that got the sense and a couple of dollars and move on. And you know what happens when the people with sense and some money move on there? Of course, there's some people with no sense and that do have money that's gonna stay around you, but they're gonna stay around you just for a little bit. They're only gonna come around you just long enough for you to do damage, so they can use that to their ability. But mostly everybody else with common sense that don't want no parts of that, they're gonna run off, leave, go where they need to go, live and grow. Then you're gonna be left without your tax base is shrinking, is gonna shrink. Businesses will be leaving, because when you can't secure businesses, you see it all the time. Crime, theft, murder, robbery, and assault. When you can't keep your employees safe and you can't keep your product safe, and then you got laws being enacted too. Oh, well, if it's under XYZ amount of dollars, then they're not going to be charged, or we're just going to let them back out. You're doing the same here. Go and do it again. So in the end, you smart non-thinkers are going to pay more. That's why you're paying more now. M-O-O-R-E. Logic has left the building for a lot of you. And it's intentional by the same people who are using the same crap that they used years ago, but they trying to push that crap on other people. Y'all need to go read some books. I'm not talking about the books that they tell you to read. Your favorite. We gotta lower, or you can't let the kids get an F, or we can't give detention. We can't do this, that, and other. When you can't correct children and you can't correct adults, when you can't be correctable or teachable, you have chaos and confusion, because everybody wants to do everything. And there's no adults in the room. When you have just children in the room and they can't do what they want, and all they know is how to throw tantrums, and then you just made a whole bunch of them in society, which has been created. I want to give a special shout out to all the elders, the few among my generation, because it is a few, only a few, and then those that came before us that raised so much better children. They might not have had everything y'all bought it. Oh, they need more money, they need more this. No, you just need parents that are decent, because you had people that was broke back in the day, but their children was better. They look better, they look clean. There's some dirty looking kids that have all this money out here. You're ignorant, ungodly, and proud to be that. And that's a sad thing. It was heartbreaking nearly. I was like, I'm ready to, I'm tired of this garbage. Gotta sit here and listen to females and males just be ignorant. But most of the females, just ignorant and HoeISH. But y'all think it's a flex. If you all don't get serious, because now we at the point, it's going to hurt to correct the mess that too many have allowed to go on for too long and that too many have bought into. It's going to hurt. It's going to take some pain and some tough decisions. It's going to probably take jail. Hell, it might even take, some people going to die because they're going to push it to the point where they're going to start threatening and challenging people. It's going to be the wrong people, because people are tired of putting up and letting you get away with all the foolishness that you got away with. Because you did it to yourselves, because you don't know how to have self-control. That is one of the fruits of the Spirit for you fake church people. Skin trends. Before you say anything else, a lot of y'all need to stop talking, because you don't know history. I ain't know a lot of history till I went out here and looked on my own. They don't teach you certain things. They don't want you to know it. That's why you sitting up here talking to back crap foolishness with these back crap, deceptive, transforming people that like to push changing your body parts like the way they change every conversation that they have, depending on whose audience they're in front of, because they want to get your votes. But the only thing they really want you to do is be just as lunatikish and outlandish as they are, and willing to pervert your soul and give up the God of the Bible for the God of whatever you can make up and reimagine. Stay away from the reimaginers if you want to really have a fruitful and productive life, because when you stay away from them, God can move a little bit better for you. But if not, Godspeed, because the disconnect from a lot of you is coming.